Good morning, viewers. Chris over here at Virillo Trading. Good morning to you wherever you are around the world. Buenos dias, bon matin, good morning, guten tag. In this live stream, we're going to talk about something that I believe is very, very important. And this topic is going to relate to becoming successful and trading successfully. It does not only relate to day trading or swing trading. This relates to any type of trading or any type of endeavor where your performance is required to be required to be very good. You have to perform. So, I want to start off by just giving you guys some general information. I've been trading since 2019. If you guys don't know, I make videos here on this channel about software, things like that. And I have some, I guess, slightly unorthodox thoughts about how trading works and what it really takes to become successful in trading. I've been doing pretty well in my trading the last few months. This week, I had a pretty big comeback. I hit my max drawdown on Tuesday, and then Wednesday managed to make everything back. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, basically Wednesday I made it all back. Then Thursday and Friday I basically just kept it and kept the trend up, and made it all back in spades. That's the expression. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that later in the stream. But for now, I want to go over a tweet that I saw from Axia Futures that I found very, very interesting. So let's go over to the screen right here, and I want to show you exactly this. So, by the way, let me know if you guys are hearing this in the chat, if you can hear everything good and all that stuff. Let's see who's in the chat here. Feel free to write in the live chat. I need to hear you guys to confirm that everything's going good. So Alex Haywood wrote, and Alex Haywood is Axia Futures. This tweet here really, really resonated with me. He said, day trading is an old man's game. Forget the 23-year-old influencers. Our top traders in 2025 are currently aged between 39 and 48 years old, winning big while raising families and handling real life. This right here for me, guys, it hit hard. It resonated with me a lot because in the last few years, I have been experimenting with different ways of making my life harder, forcing myself into situations where I absolutely have to perform. I have no choice. And believe it or not, this is not something so easy when you're born into, I don't want to say my family's not rich. Actually, we're pretty broke actually. I come from a pretty broke family. Monetarily, that is. But when it comes to values and virtues, I would say it's the opposite. We have very strong virtues and values. But what I meant by that is our lives are too easy. When you're born into a first world country and you've had many years of trial and error to get things rolling and you're relatively well established, your life is too easy. So at least for me personally, what I've had to do about this is make it more difficult. Find ways to make it more difficult that kind of sparks that drive and that motivation that I need to show up every day and take money out of the markets or whatever I have to do. So when he talks about our top traders are older and they're winning while raising families and handling real life, this is in line directly with how I view things in regards to trading and your performance in trading. Okay, thank you. Thank you, KH, Chu, and MKH. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you guys. So, this is kind of how I view this. I want to unpack this a little bit. Then some of you guys can maybe join in the Telegram and give me your thoughts on this. Sorry, I can't speak today for some reason. Because some traders are under the impression that all they need is an edge and all they need is a profitable strategy to win in trading. And I honestly believe that that could not be further from the truth. I think that you need a genuine reason to show up and trade and to take the risks that you take. You know, someone who doesn't have that genuine reason is eventually going to psych themselves out. Again, this is my belief system, right? They're eventually going to simply psych themselves into giving all that money back to the market simply because they know deep down that they don't actually need it. You can repeat that. Let's cook on that for a minute. So, I believe that in order to make bread doing anything and keep it and use it for what it's meant to be used for, you need one main thing. You need a reason for what that bread is to be used for. You don't just go into the markets and make money just to have money. It doesn't work that way. You go into the market because you have a reason to show up and make that bread. Let it be to pay your rent. Let it be to support your girl, your wife, to support your kids, to support your family, to handle your maintenance cost, to grow a business, to do something. You need some other reason. You need some projects. You need some things to fuel, that your trading needs to be there to fuel. And I think MHK is trolling me here. He says that's exactly what I did early on, and that's why I wasn't profitable. And again, I'm not saying that this is going to work for everybody. I'm not saying that. It's very relative to your situation. So I'm in the position where I've been trading for quite a long time. I've been working on my strategies for quite a long time. I spent at least 2 years in my old basement apartment, 2-3 years or more in that apartment, just grinding it out, trading micros every day and getting something going. And a lot of the principles that I developed during those times, I still use to this day. But what's different now is that in order for me to get up every day and execute it and continue to scale up my trading, I need a genuine reason to do that. And for me, that genuine reason stems from upping my expenses, supporting my girl, supporting my family, and coming up with other reasons to do so. So that's the whole thing. And that's why I 100% agree with Alex Haywood, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. And he says that. He runs a prop firm, and he's saying that the top traders are older, more established, and I'm just going to guess that these guys are real risk takers. You know, they're willing to put everything on the line just so they can do what they have to do, just so they can support their family or fund that business that they were doing. And you see this as a common pattern in high risk takers and people who run companies and things like that. I mean, I don't want to put names out there, but I mean, apparently there was stories about Musk way back, like he was, well, I mean, you look at any of these big guys. I mean, I'm naming the big names, Trump, Musk, whatever. There was always situations where their backs were directly against the wall. And they were basically in a position where they had to do something. They had to win. You cannot afford to lose. It is simply impossible for you to lose. If you lose, it's unacceptable for you to lose. They're in a situation where your back is against the wall. Okay? And I wrote this on Twitter. I'll go over that in a moment. Actually, I'll go over it now. You can follow me on X here. It's just for a little trading. Okay? I believe this, and I will take this to the grave, personally. If your back isn't against the wall, long term, you will lose against an opponent whose back is against the wall. The reason I believe that, it should be pretty obvious to you guys. And if you guys have any similar stories about this, please write them in the comments. I'd be happy to hear it. And if you guys completely disagree with what I'm saying also, I would be happy to hear it. Write it in the comments. And come and join on the Telegram, because in about maybe 30 minutes or so, or an hour, I will be opening this up for Q&A. So if you guys want to come in, tell a story, feel free to do so. Write it in the comments, okay? So what I really mean by this is that when your back is against the wall, obviously it's metaphorical. It means that you're in a situation where you have to get things done. Let it be through trading, let it be through your other business, through whatever it is. Now, if you're at a stage in your trading where you don't have anything established, you haven't been through enough market cycles and market experience, then obviously guys, this is not going to make any difference, whether your back is to the wall or not. I am really talking from the perspective of somebody who has experience in the markets, who's experienced multiple market cycles, who's seen how these things work. You have a degree of confidence in your trading. Let it be through all the experiences you've had. Your wins, your losses, seeing how things react to news, watching other traders, studying how the markets react to, trading emotions and news and things like that. You have to have some experience under your belt for this to make any sense. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at, okay? But when you're in that situation now, like I'm in that position, right? Where I've been trading for about 6 years. I have something very established. I have principles that are established in my trading about why I do things the way I do them. And I know that these things make money because I see them happen time and time and time again. And someone's going to come out and say, past performance is not indicative. Doesn't matter, okay? You know what you know and you don't know what you don't know in this world, okay? And when you know something, transferring that knowledge into hard, cold performance, whatever it is, growing your trading account, taking that withdrawal out of your trading account and using it to fund your business, using it to support your family, whatever you have to do. That's the magic process that I'm talking about here. And that a lot of it relates to your psychology. Because if you know deep down that you absolutely need to pull that money out of the market, then you're going to find a way to do it. You're going to adjust your trading approach to make that happen. If you know deep down that you don't need that money, maybe you're sitting on a big bag, an inheritance, you've been saving money for a while, or you have low expenses, whatever it may be, your back is not against the wall. I'm not saying that you're going to lose right away. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that your overall level of drive and motivation to get up in the morning and crush it for whatever it is, the first 2 hours of the market, the first hour and a half, whatever it takes. It could take 30 minutes for all we're concerned to nail one good trade. That's all you need. All you need is one good trade. Okay? But you need the grit, you need the motivation to get up and put your money where your mouth is and execute that trade. When you're in a situation where you have an underlying driving force as to why you need to go in and put that trade on, that's going to be the determining factor, whether you win or lose long term. And even if that trade loses, when you're in a situation where your back is genuinely against the wall, every single loss bites to a point where it is unacceptable to lose again. So you're gonna make the necessary changes and adjustments to make it so that never, ever, ever happens again, because it's simply unacceptable. Now, I know somebody's going to come out and say, oh, you have to get used to losing because you have to, some level 1 trading advice saying, oh, just accept the losses. 100% accept the losses. But do you understand that you should never judge a trader by the size of their wins? You should always judge them by the size of their losses. You can quote me on that. Someone who's seen real shit in the market has taken big losses. Let's read some of these comments. Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate you guys. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, D-Tex. Good morning, Jab. Good morning, Douglas. And good morning, Prince of Nothing. I appreciate you guys for joining here this morning. Remember to leave a like on the live stream if you guys are enjoying some of the things I'm talking about here. And let's go ahead and read some of the comments. So, Brian, he says, you ever hear the theory that most people are addicted to a salary? You know, I can cook on that for a little bit, but it's kind of, some aspects of it that just are so completely so remote to me. So The reason why is because I've been self-employed for such a long time that I deeply ingrained it into my lifestyle. So the last time I worked at 9 to 5 must have been 15 years ago. I'll be honest with you. And since then, I've been pretty much self-employed, whether it been through just playing music or whether it be through one of my YouTube channels. And so the thing about it being addicted to a salary, it's only something I've ever witnessed from other people. So I see people that work 9 to 5 or regular jobs and they get that regular consistent salary. And obviously I understand that when you get that salary, you're used to it. It's something that it becomes ingrained in your process and the way the way you operate, living paycheck to paycheck potentially, or getting used to the comfort that that paycheck provides you. And I don't necessarily, when I say that, I don't necessarily think that living paycheck to paycheck is a bad thing. I think it could actually be a good thing. Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, in a way, your back is against the wall, but it's not as against the wall as somebody's who has a variable income, who doesn't know if they're going to make what they're going to make for the next month. You know, they may have hit a big bag now, but doesn't mean they're going to hit it next month too. So addicted to the salary, I've seen it in a lot of people, but it's not something I can really relate to. D-Tech says he isn't saying that for the reason you think he's just saying you need more experience in the market. You need years under your belt, not some deep philosophical reason. Yeah, so I think D-Tech's kind of starting to understand a bit where I'm coming from. I agree. I got burned many times. Yeah, I think we all have. D-Tech says, I do agree though, your back needs to be against the wall. If trading isn't keeping you up at night, you're never going to make it. 100%. Whether it's whatever it is, it doesn't have to be trading. In this case, we're talking about trading because I believe that trading is a vehicle to generate whatever you need to generate. Obviously, why do we trade? We trade because we need the money, but it's more than that. It's more than that. I was talking a bit about this in the last stream. We don't just trade for the money. If all you trade for is the actual dollar sign, like that's not enough. You need a genuine reason as to why you need to pull that money out of the market. I mean, like you should visualize yourself creating that withdrawal with your clearing firm, on a consistent basis. Let it be, I've a friend of mine trades, he withdraws every week. Let it be every week, let it be every month. Whatever your goal is, your short-term goals, visualize yourself withdrawing that bread out of your clearing firm and then using it to execute whatever needs to be executed. That's kind of how I see things. Because if you keep the bread in the trading account, you need to have a reason to do that too. Maybe your reason is because you have not hit your midterm or shorter term or longer term goal yet. Maybe you need to hit a certain level. Maybe it's a small account and you're trying to grow it. That's a valid reason too. And that's actually quite a difficult challenge, growing a small account. And it can help you build your patience and your discipline over the long run. But when we're talking about trading to generate income, to generate money, to do other things here, what I was saying is valid. You have to pull out the money out of the trading account and use it. I mean, it's just common sense. Brian says you need a balance of stability, experience, and do or die. Yeah, I like that. Douglas says, when your back is against the wall, you will make that extra effort that it takes to do something as challenging as trading. 100%. Prince of Nothing says, bro, you actually checked out Axia Futures. Didn't expect you to hear me out. What do you think of the 7 to 6 figure P&L trades? Yeah, Prince of Nothing. I mean, I've known about Axia Futures for quite some time. They've been around the trading industry for quite a while. So it's nothing. Well, I don't want to say your input did matter to me, by the way. But yeah, I've been following Alex Haywood on X for a very long time. He doesn't tweet very often. If you look at the frequency of his tweets, it's very, very rare. Actually, that's something I've noticed with the less a trading influencer posts, or the less a trading organization or influencer or account posts, typically it correlates to the quality of their posts being higher and the legitimacy of their posts actually being higher too. And the opposite, I would say the opposite is true. The more somebody tweets, and I don't want to name any names here, but there's plenty of trading influencers you can find. All you do is scroll X. The more they tweet, the less the lower the quality of their trading advice is, because they tweet things like, all you need is to buy when there's a liquidity sweep, and bang, you're profitable. Or something like, if you're a scalper, don't even tell me why you're not profitable. Like some just like random tweets that make zero sense, that give zero value, yet they get all kinds of likes and comments. Like, it's just purely for the engagement, and it's crazy. That's how social media works. It's a different thing. MKH. Oh, so Princess I think says, what do you think of the 7 to 6 figure P&L trades? I mean, I don't know if I can relate. I've never had a 6-figure trade, and I've certainly never had a 7-figure trade. Because, and again, it's all levels. I want to talk about this a little more. I'm going to talk about this a little more as we get in here, because it's all about the levels. If you're trading for a prop firm, that's different than trading your family's money or your family trust fund or your own personal money. It's different. It's just different. Even if you're this, like, there's so many layers to it. And it's about how you view it more than anything. It's about how you're able to conceptualize those numbers. Because if you ask somebody who came from nothing, or who doesn't really, on average, doesn't use 5 figures, 10 figures, not 10 figures, sorry, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures in their daily activities, if you're not that type of person that's moving around that type of money, then it's impossible for you to relate to somebody when they're trading 6 figures, 7 figures. So I think it's all relative, personally. So like, for me, if you asked me personally, I'm in my comfort zone, like in my sort of sweet spot right now, at least. Obviously, I'm working on scaling, but I'm in my sweet spot when I'm making around 200 to 500 a day trading micros in my personal account, 200 to 500 US a day. And I personally think that's easy to do. And I don't want to say easy. It depends on the day. Some days are just crap, but when the volatility's there and the trade setups are there, it's very reasonable to pull $500 out of the market, even 1,000, just using micros, just using maybe 3 to 6 contracts. And obviously, it depends on how you manage that. Depends on your trading entry and exit strategy. If you're scalping more, that's going to be different. So like, that's kind of where my sweet spot is. So for me to conceptualize having trades like a 10 grand trade in a day, I'm not there yet. You know, I'm telling you guys, I'm not at that level yet. It takes experience. I'm going to be 31 years old this year. Well, actually, in a couple of weeks, and I believe that, well, I don't want to go too off topic here, but when you're in your 30s as a man, it's kind of like where the most growth happens. Obviously, you can have a lot of growth in your 20s, but your 20s are kind of for experimenting and getting burned and learning like crucial lessons that you take with you through your 30s and 40s. And if some of you guys are older, this still applies to you, by the way. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, or 40, or 50. It doesn't really matter. But as you get older, your risk tolerance gets higher because you're used to moving around larger sums of money. So I'm not at a stage yet where I can relate to people that trade 6, 7 figures, because whenever they're trading, I want to know, how is that relative to your daily drawdown? Like, what's your daily drawdown? Like, what are your thresholds you're working with here? Because someone could make $10,000 on a trade, but really what I want to know is, how much are they risking to make that? Obviously, it's like kind of a given. What are they risking on the day? What's your daily loss limit threshold? Once I know what their loss limit is approximately on the day, on the week, give or take, then I can understand where they're coming from a bit when they're showing me trades of 6, 7 figures. So the way a prop firm manages risk is going to be different than the way other people manage risk. But I like talking about this stuff because it's important for us as traders. When we're trying to grow, we have to learn how to conceptualize these larger numbers and visualize ourselves trading with larger numbers. And in order to trade with larger numbers, if I want to be consistent with what I was saying before, you need to have a genuine reason to make those larger numbers. So whatever it is, you must have a lot of kids to feed, a lot of mouths to feed. It's kind of how I see it. MHK says, I realize you have to hate to lose more than you love to win. Yes, I agree with that. And partly the reason why I agree with the way he says that is because I believe that the money you make is never really truly yours. No money you make is truly yours. Like, if you're the type of person to just stack up a big bag just for like some longer term goal that you don't even know if it's going to be relevant in 5 years. Like, I don't want to bash on people that save up and like buy real estate and things like that, but like you're not my type of guy. You're not like, we don't see things the same way. Money is not really yours. Even assets, I would go as far as to say physical tangible objects, unless they're your work tools, like tools that you use for work, like my camera, my mic, my laptop, or relationships, those are also real assets. Unless they're those things and they fall into that category where you can categorize it as a real asset, it's never really truly yours in a way, and in some ways it could be argued as being more of a liability than an actual asset. Tangible objects I'm talking about here: houses, cars, other things like that. Dtex, desperation and desire are two different things though. Needing the money is more destructive. You need desire for a reason, but desperation ain't it. Well, of course, we're not desperate. We're not desperate because there's always going to be another way. I wouldn't say there's ever one way to do something. It's very rare. Like life, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but life often has multiple avenues that you can attack things from. So even if in the current moment, maybe trading is not the right thing for you to do to solve the problem that you have to do. That's why like everything I'm saying here is just it's so relative, and it's obviously relative to trading, and it's relative to how I see my trading too. So I really don't know if I'm able to translate this to you guys, if you guys can even relate to what I'm talking about here, because it's so subjective. Go watch my video talking about how all advice is trash, because I believe that all the lessons that you learn in your life are relative to your path, not anybody else's path. Somebody can tell you got to risk 1 to 2 RR or 3 to 1 RR. You got to risk this amount per day, this percentage of your account. But if that's not how you see things, if that's not how you develop your trading, then it's not going to make any difference. You need to have reasons for why you implement those things, reasons for why you implement those systems. And those reasons are personal to your system, personal to the way you do things. It doesn't apply. So he said desperation. Yes. It's a tricky discussion, I would say. He's talking about desperation. By the way, if you guys are enjoying some of that stuff I'm talking about here, leave a like and comment on the video. I know that some of this stuff could be dense. It's not simple level 1 things that trading influencers post. So some of you guys, it might be going over your head. You might be saying like, what is this guy rambling about? I really don't understand. All I thought I needed was a simple candlestick entry and exit. I mean, and I thought I was doing pretty good just trading on the Heikin Ashi chart. It can't be as complicated as this guy is saying. Really, it can't be. It just, I don't understand all these traders that talk about this trading psychology stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Trading psychology, And I mean, it's all relative. It's all relative. It's all about how you see things. It's all about how you see yourself showing up to the morning, executing the trades, why you need to do the things that you need to do. For different people, it's going to be different. If you're look at like this guy, Patrick Wieland. A lot of people like to roast this guy, right? But he's an extremely confident trader. I don't know anything about his trading. But what I see the way he does, maybe some of you guys know, you can comment down below. But what I've seen him do, and I've watched a couple of his live streams and things like that, and the way he trades, he's very interactive, and he talks a lot about when he has red days, losses, things like that. He's transparent about that, but obviously nobody knows how transparent people really are. But people like the content where they talk about losses because it's more relatable. So he might say one thing about, let's say he says trading psychology is bullshit. I do this and I've been banging it out and I've been winning and this and that. For him, the way he sees things, the way he's framed his trading, certain psychological topics that traders talk about are not relevant to the way he sees things, because he has another underlying driving force behind his trading that's allowing him to get up in the morning and do what he has to do. Okay, so when you hear people give takes on certain topics, just understand that it's always from their perspective, and it's rarely going to help anybody. Like, sure, you can take little nuggets from it, and you can say, you know what, actually I resonate with that. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to cook on that for a bit. But the bottom line is they're talking about it from their perspective. Let me look at the comments a little bit here. Dr. M is cooking. Welcome. Thanks for joining, bro. Prince of Nothing says, I got all their courses on Mega. I can create a link and send them right now. This is not a piracy stream, my friend. He wants to pirate the courses. No, but you know what? Actually, I like trading courses. I'm not one that I don't think I will ever sell anything related to trading courses or trading education, because my course would pretty much be this. It would be, you have to figure it out for yourself. I would literally record a video of me doing this and saying, guys, learn everything you have to learn about the technical side of trading, study all the biggest traders, take the possible nuggets that you can take from them, and then get in the field, learn for yourself. And basically when you do that, you're going to realize that all that other stuff that they told you is not that relevant to your trading, because you have to literally develop your own systems as you go through this journey to tackle the various things that you have to tackle. Let it be issues related to your psychology, issues related to your trade management, whatever it is, issues related to adapting to the market. But I do like trading courses, and in my first few years of trading, I did watch a number of courses. I was like just listening. And I had the same euphoria that all new traders face, which is like, oh, that new indicator, I know that I'm gonna get something good out of it. You know, my dad's in this stage right now. He convinced himself that this trading view indicator is all he needs to trade, and I kind of, you know, when you're like when you're talking to somebody and you can tell that they're so set on something, but you know that they're in a dangerous mental territory, like you're gonna end up getting burned because you've already been there. It's like, I've already walked that path. I know where that path leads. And I'm telling you that that's not the path where you think it's gonna go. And they constantly say, no, you know what? I know it's good. I see it's good. This and that. So I know it's good. So I'm gonna do that. What you're saying doesn't matter. Fine. I warned you, and that's it. And I'm not saying it's impossible just to trade off a trading view indicator. It might be, but without really understanding about how the market works, without understanding about so many things, time of the day. If you guys want to get into it, I can get into some of these things. Time of the day is a big one. 10 a.m. data, 9:45, whatever it is, 8:30 in the morning data. As soon as the market opens, momentum. What did the market do on the 30 second to 3 minute opening range? I look at that a lot. And then sometimes that categorizes my bias for the session, for the first couple hours of the session. Yeah, that's what's up. If you guys are just joining, let me know. We got 46 people watching, which is honestly something I could have never imagined, because I just take these things one day at a time, one moment at a time. I really don't know how good things are going to get. Sure, I like to prepare myself for things getting really good, but also really bad in case. It's like, oh man, I don't want to cook on this too much, but let me go through some of these comments. So Dr. M, Mr. Spammer says, so many things that I don't know what he's talking about, but thanks for joining anyways. Global World News, thank you for joining, and good morning to you. Says, Varillo brother, I have a great respect for you, a great professor. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Changing Breaks, I don't know what he's talking about. MKH says, so I'm saying I learned not to be greedy, take my profits and exit, not waiting for the home run, MOASS. Taking 5% to 25% nearly every day adds up to a MOASS. I don't know what he means by MOASS. I never heard that acronym before. But let's unpack what MKH wrote there in the comments. Okay, so let me read it again. He says, so I'm saying I learned not to be greedy, take my profits and exit, not waiting for the home run, MOASS. Okay. So, but what does that really mean? What does that really mean to you as a trader? Because you could I remember I did this a long time ago in my old apartment. I some sayings from Mark Douglas's book, Trading. I don't know. It was either Trading in the Zone, one of those books, and they're good books, by the way. I would recommend them for new traders to read. And I took some of those sayings and I literally taped them to my wall. Okay. But what I didn't know at the time that I was taping those things to my wall is what those things actually meant. I understood the words. I understood the concept of what those words meant, but I didn't know what they really meant in the context of my trading and the driving force behind my trading. So when MKH says he learned not to be greedy, take his profits and exit, you guys have to take that type of advice with a grain of salt because it's relative to how he's seeing the session. So let me give you some context. If I show up in the morning and I roll out of my bed and I'm looking at the markets, and I've been studying the markets and I'm in the loop with the markets. I show up and I see the market open. Maybe I show up 30 minutes before market open and I look at the market open and I'm seeing things. And I know already that I'm going to be sitting here for around 90 minutes to 120 minutes at the most. Now, there could be reasons why. Could be because I have something to do later, or because that's what I think. I think that there's a reason to believe that in the next 90 minutes there's going to be a window of opportunity, and then it'll be done, right? So I'm coming into the session with context, understanding about what I'm here to do, the time frame about where I'm here to operate in, and now that I have more context about what I'm here to do, I can then begin to implement some of these systems, like where he's saying not to be greedy. Maybe I'll scalp the trade more than let it ride. I have reasons to implement a thing like that because of the general context and how things are presenting itself. Now, obviously, it's an unfolding scenario, so things could change. Maybe I'm working my way into a trade and I'm seeing, the way this is going, I may have to sit here for another hour this morning. I just may have to. And if I'm not able to, I may just have to cut the trade for a loss and just accept it, and that's it, and come back the next day. But I've had scenarios like this. One time it happened to me last week where I originally planned to sit there for the morning, but it actually ended up taking another hour or two for the trade to actually play out. And I spoke on this a bit on my last live stream. So it's really up to you. You're never you can't be too rigid with these types of things. I mean, at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? How bad do you need that money? How bad do you need this trade to work out? Because if you don't need it that bad, most probably you're just going to paper hand the trade. You're going to say, I lost, okay, whatever, and then go on to whatever else you were looking at, TikTok or some garbage. If you need it bad enough, you're going to do whatever it takes to get it. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope you guys kind of get where I'm coming from a bit. And if you don't agree, also let me know. Doctor says there's Andrew Tate intro hustle full video. I don't know. Koreans. Oh my God, seriously. Kiyu Chu says you're spot on. Catch up with this talk later. Cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining. My back hurts. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Is that all? Agree. Okay. Global World News says, please let us know which futures brokers are best. I'm using my own money. I don't want to use Interactive Brokers anymore. They have high margin requirements here in Canada. So if your issue is with the margin requirements, which I totally understand, and I do this the same. I mean, I use a discount broker to trade futures. You have to do your own research about the brokers, but I will give 3 names that you can do research into. You can check AMP Futures, AMP Futures, A as in Arnold, M as in Michael, P as in Peter, Futures. That's the name, AMP Futures. Another one you can check is Iron Beam. That's the one I actually use now. I've been using them for over 2 years and I haven't had any problems with them. Some people have said that they don't have very good customer service. I don't know, because I don't really need much customer service. With the exception of, hey, can you enable micro Bitcoin for my account, or can you enable corn futures or whatever it is. That's pretty much the extent of the customer service that I need personally. If you're the type of trader, and I know that you're not, because you're saying that you're trading your own money, and I'm not going to assume that you're some sort of a commercial entity. But if you're a commercial entity, like a farmer or a big institution that trades commodity contracts for a different reason, then you have more specific requirements from the broker, as opposed to an individual trader like you and me, you and I, who are just there to make bread to pay our rent or whatever. So in that case, Iron Beam, AMP Futures, and also EdgeClear. You can check out EdgeClear. EdgeClear has good reviews. I've heard that they have good reviews. Okay, but again, I don't like to throw out names, but those are just the names that I've seen a lot of traders talk about. So it's up to you to go out there and do your research on them. Okay. For futures trading, that is. If you trade stocks or options, I typically recommend Interactive Brokers. You can use the link down below to support my channel. Click that link, it helps out. Thank you. Yasmin. What's going on, Yasmin? Excuse me. She says, hey, I've been studying the market for 2 years and day trading for 1, but I haven't done anything with real money because I'm 16 and afraid of doing something wrong and my parents having to bear the consequences. Do you have any tips for me to continue studying until I turn 18 and I'm ready to day trade with my real money? I live outside the US in Europe, so I convinced my dad to open an account at Interactive Brokers and I'm using paper trading to get used to the platform. I think I've watched about 50 of your videos in the last 2 weeks. Well, thank you for watching. First of all, I really appreciate you watching those videos, and I'm really grateful that those videos can help you in some way, because there is some good information in those videos. Now, that's quite an interesting story you have there, starting trading at such a young age of 16. I mean, you don't normally hear, dude, look, I have 3 younger girl cousins. 3. 2 are 18. Actually, one's about to turn 18. One already is 18. And the other one, I think, is 16. I would not picture my cousin, 16-year-old cousin, day trading. That's the last thing I would see her do, in fact. That's the last thing I would see her do. And in fact, I don't think I'd even want... I don't even know how I would think about it if I saw my 16-year-old cousin starting a day trade. Say, hey Chris, I was watching your video on trading on that platform, and yeah, you know, I was trading the S&P micros. Like, I couldn't picture that my 16-year-old cousin telling me that. I just can't. so, and I know it's so relative. I know I don't want to make fun of you or anything. It's just, I'm just trying to tell you that it's a very unique situation that you're in. It's a completely different situation. There has to be some sort of a reason why you're doing that. Now, let me try to answer her question and address her question in a professional way that I would. I think the best thing you can do is practice like you're doing now. You said you've been using a paper trading account for a few weeks. I mean, use the paper trading account. I would extend it for a few months, a minimum of 3 to 6 to 9 months on paper trading. You will have time. The markets are not going anywhere. I've been here for 6 years, okay? And I'm sitting here talking to you guys about how not easy this game is and how some of the things that I'm using to develop concepts around reasons as to psyching myself into why I need to get up in the morning and do this, okay? It doesn't get easier. You have to develop systems around this. So you must have a reason as to why you're doing this. If you're in this, if you're 16 years old and you're into day trading, you must have some sort of an underlying driving force as to why you decided to get into this. Whatever that reason is, fine. Use that reason to motivate yourself to get up in the morning for 6 months and study the markets. Whether it's going to be following other influencer traders, right? That could be one thing. Or it's going to be, I don't know, just getting out there, placing your own trades and learning the hard way. Now, since you said there's an issue with money and funding the account, one thing you could consider is one of those funded prop firm things. Although I don't typically recommend this. I don't typically recommend this for most people. But since you said you have issues with funding an account and you don't know and you're afraid about losing your money and all that, and you don't have a lot of money you probably don't have money to fund an account. I mean, when I was 16, I wasn't funding trading accounts. Like, let's be serious. When I was 16, I was sitting in my room composing string quartets and playing guitar all day. And I still do that. Except now I have to trade too. But the reality is you need to sit there for 6 months and learn the markets at a minimum. 6 to 9 months at a minimum. Dedicate yourself to this. And after those 9 months, you'll have a different perspective on things and you'll be ready to take the next step forward. Okay? Don't waste your money gambling, because it's very easy to gamble if you don't know what you're doing. You can just show up and say, oh, that guy's bullish on gold. I think he's profitable, so I'm going to follow him. No, that's not what trading is all about. That's not. You know, you're going to say, oh, I found this one indicator that has a 90% win rate. It's still not going to win, because every indicator will be trumped by greater market context, whatever it will be. It's going to be Trump coming out and tweeting. It's going to be Elon Musk tweeting, "Oh, Trump, we're breaking up today. Bang, Tesla stock drops 15%. Yeah, your indicator is not going to tell you that why or anything about that. Okay, that you might have a momentum, and the momentum indicator is going to get triggered after the news came out, and it's going to be a momentum sell. Oh, momentum sell. The market just dropped 25%, so I'm going to short the stock now. What? Meanwhile, if you look exactly at where it bottomed, other traders have reasons to buy the stock at that exact zone. So it creates support. So now you're in a trade where you're short the stock and you're losing money, and you're like, well, I thought I had an indicator and it was working. But you didn't realize that greater market context trumped that indicator. It literally trumped it. That's a play on words. Messing around. Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate you joining. Okay, I'm going back in the comments now to read some of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff here. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you. Remember to leave a like on the stream. We'll try and do some of these streams more often. Saturday live streams, very good. My backer says I use AMP Futures, Sierra Charts, Prince of Nothing. He says, you said micros, ES or NQ, and how much realistic capital would you need for $200 to $500 days? I would say at least a minimum of 3,000 to 5,000 USD account. That's what I would say. And maybe I'm estimating, maybe I'm under anticipating, but there's different ways that you can view this. So let me see. How can I show this? So let's say we go to CME MES margins. Now let me just make sure you guys are seeing this, okay? So I want to give you guys a reasonable reference for how much you should fund an account to trade micros or to trade any futures contract for that matter. Okay, let's look at this. So I just typed in CME Group micro S&P 500 futures. Okay, so now I'm on the website over here. I'm going to click margins, and this will give you the overnight margin requirements. So if you hold a position in one contract after 5 p.m. Eastern, this is the amount of money you need to hold in your account, and it's around $21.78 per contract. Okay, so that's the full overnight exchange margin. Now, if you trade with a day trading broker, a discount broker, normally they offer a lower capital requirement to trade the contract intraday, and typically that could be between 10 to 20% of the exchange margin. Now, it may not always be. It might be higher, it might be lower, it might be whatever. But let's just assume it's 20%. Let's just assume it's 10%, just for math purposes, because I'm kind of bad at math sometimes, especially when I'm live on YouTube. So if it's 10%, it means that you can trade one MES with $217.80. $217 per contract. That's your capital requirement per contract. Now, when you're trading this contract, you also have to look at the tick value of that contract, which means for every tick that the futures contract goes up or down, how much are you making or losing in your trading account? And you need to use that amount relative to how far away you're placing your stop loss on the trade. So if you're the type of trader that has wider stops all the time, then what you're going to do is you're going to trade less contracts. You're going to have to trade less contracts to manage that greater risk. So in regards to account size, so he specifically asked, how much account size do you need to reasonably, like if you're consistent and you're right around where I'm at in my trading, where you can pull about 200 USD to about 500 USD, give or take. Obviously, you're going to have outsized days too, give or take on average every day. I would say as if your max drawdown, let's say your max drawdown is $500. That's right around where I am. You should have, now first of all, you should not be hitting your max drawdown. You should not be hitting that often. I mean, if you're hitting your max drawdown consistently, there's a problem with your trading. You're forcing something onto the market that's not meant to be forced. Because normally a max drawdown happens in specific scenarios. It actually happened to me this week on Tuesday. And then after that, I followed by making it all back in spades on the next 3 days. Okay? That's how it should look. So you should have at least, at a minimum, I would say, and maybe I'm just giving a random number here, but at least 5 times your maximum drawdown. I'm going to say 5 to 10 times your maximum drawdown. So if your max drawdown is 500, you should have at the very minimum 2,500. Okay? As a small account to trade micros. That's what we're talking specifically about here, okay? And if you're trading minis, just times that by 10 because the minis are 10 times larger than the micros. Okay, I hope I answered the question, and I hope that that's a reasonable reference. If you disagree with the numbers I said, let me know why. Because these are not perfect things here. I'm just giving you guys reasonable references. All right. Dr. M, what's up? Let's see here. I'm guessing like $10K is for micro ES and 20K for micro NQ. Yeah, you're a bit higher than I was, quite a bit higher than I was. But yeah, between 5 and 10 times the daily maximum drawdown. Like what does a maximum drawdown mean to me? A maximum drawdown is like if you lost that on the day or more than that, there had to be something serious that happened. Either some bullshit news announcement that caught you when you weren't expecting it, that happened to me last week, or you messed up bad in your risk management and your capital cash flow management. You messed up bad. Or maybe you just have no conceptualize of how to manage a trade properly. But it happens to the best of us. You commit big on a trade, you have to be willing to pay, okay? And also it could happen, I forgot about this. It could happen where you just can't get anything going on the day. You took 3-4 shots and you can't get anything going. Nothing is going. You can do no good on that particular trading day. That's fine. That's acceptable too. That session is going to be used as a learning experience because there's often other reasons why that you can bring into the scenario as to why you did what you did. Were you forcing the trade on the day? Were you? I don't want to get into that because it's so personal. Because there's so many reasons why you can mess up. There's so many reasons why you can and how you can mess up. I don't want to ramble too much. I don't want to ramble. Let's read the comments and I'll just kind of glance over these. Let's see here. Dr. M. Mumu, if I log on, hold on. Cheers. I like apple cider. What's up, Momo? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Moo Mooses. Thank you. My back hurts says, if you're a new trader, do not start with 50K. 100% my back hurts. You are going to end up like my back hurts and your back is going to hurt if you start off with a lot of capital trading because you just have more to lose. You're showing up to a casino with a lot of money in your pockets. Chances are most of that money is going into the casino's pocket. You know, someone who knows how to count blackjack cards doesn't go into the casino with racks in their pocket. They leave the casino with racks in their pocket. That's the difference. You have to have a reason. What's your reason to go into that casino and pull out that money? What's the reason? If you already have the racks in your pocket and you're showing up to the casino, and I'm using the casino as a metaphor for the market, obviously, good chance you're giving it to the market. But it's all relative. That's what you have to remember. It's all relative because Goldman Sachs is coming in and they have a reason why they need to show up and put on a $10 million position. You know, it's all relative. It's all relative. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see here. All Sierra chart just transparent. Okay, high quality for real. Aviran, thank you for joining, Aviran. I'm reading through some of these. I think they were going on about the starting account balance and the amount you need per contract. DTech says like don't trade 2 to 3 ES contracts if you don't have 20K LOL. You need to trade relative to your net worth. You trade 2 to 3 ES contracts. If you have 200K but not 20K in your account. But only 20K in your account, if that makes sense. Yes, I agree with that. That makes sense, and that's kind of relatively in line with what I was talking about and showing earlier. Like I was talking about micros, but everything I said about the micros just times it by 10. So if I said you need, like if you're trading minis, you need to have a larger daily drawdown. Maybe not 10 times, probably not 10 times larger. Obviously not 10 times larger. But it depends on the trading strategy too. It depends on the trading approach. Like if you have wider stops and you're doing more position trading, kind of like the way I do it, it may be difficult to trade minis with, like, say, a $2,000 drawdown limit. It might be difficult for me to do that. With my particular way of doing things, because I do more position trading and I scalp around the position. So I start building a core. Like I have a concept, I have a bias on what I'm seeing, and I'll start building a core. I may have reasons as to why I want to add a little more or less. But generally speaking, I have a position and I'm scalping a bit around the position. And obviously I have targets and I'm taking off chunks, pretty big chunks on targets. And depending on the volatility, I may add back if it comes back down. So I'm constantly scalping around that position. And for me, the micros, so far, it's been a good starting point to do that. And I can see that the numbers are are getting higher. So it's for me, it's a workable base. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know when I'll go over to the minis, but I don't know. Let's see here. I'm a block some idiots all time. Yes, Momo. I don't know what he's talking about. Prince of Nothing says, Carmen Rosado, what do you think about his trading style? And also Fat Cat. They're two opposite ends of the stick. One ES momentum scalper, one ES day trader. I haven't looked at Carmen Rosado very much, apart from the fact that I've seen him make a few videos where he's talking to the camera and he's like, guys, today I had a big loss. And then he's like giving some general level 1 advice that probably won't apply to you. And then he shows the trade, and then I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just, being in the trading industry for all these years, it's just, I have such a stigma about most content creators. It's pretty much comedy for me all at this point. Like, it's just comedy. I scroll X and I'm like, man, is this what new traders have to deal with? Like, seriously, man. No wonder this industry is so difficult. Like, all you have is like dudes, like some guys are good, like Lance Breitstein. Yeah, I'm sure he's good and all that. I mean, I don't really know. But I mean, I view it all as comedy. So you have people that come out and they say, if you dedicate yourself to it 100%, you can accomplish. Okay, like my neighbor could have told me that. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's all comedy basically. It's all comedy. Let's see. But every now and then you come across a gem. Don't get me wrong. That's why I like X, because every now and then you come across someone posting a gem, a genuine thread, something interesting, something that you can actually, that sparks some thought. That's what I like. Okay, so let's stop rambling and talk about it. If anybody, you know what? If you guys want to come in, Dr. Phenom, he raised his hand. Oh my God, Dr. Phenom, you want? you want to say something? I'll let you say something. I'll let you say something to the stream. And I'll check the thing. You should be good, bro. Dr. Phenom, what do you got to say for us? What do you got to say for us here, huh? What do you got to say for us? I give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You're in the Telegram. Alright, he's got nothing. Oh, I'll keep looking at the comments in the meantime here. Yep. You trade opportunities. If you see a good opportunity, size up. Those are the account growers. Yep. All it takes is one trade, my friends. All it takes is one trade.
And good night.
Mister, what's up? Tell us. What are you going to tell us?
I got nothing. I just enabled the microphone.
Bro, so why are you here if you got nothing, bro? What do you got to share with the viewers?
Some trading knowledge. Basically, you hold the position on 20 NQs for 39 days and you get 1.3 million. And you need a pretty large bankroll for that.
Is that all?
From 17,900 level. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole strategy. You just got to go point A to point B and hold it for a while in this market. That's about it.
All right. Let me know what you guys think of that. I won't comment on it right now, but it's all relative, right? What you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. It's all relative. It's all relative, my friends. If he has a reason to buy it at 17, then he has a reason. Just in case you guys don't know, he just came in on the Telegram channel. So just go to t.me/Verlo Trading, and you guys can actually come in and physically ask questions and like chat with me if you guys want to shoot the shit and chat. I'll drop the link for that here in the live stream chat. One moment. There you go. All right. Now I want to let's continue, because I had actually a few things I wanted to cook on, because I didn't get to everything I was talking about. I wanted to talk about. So I started the stream off. If you guys are just joining, I was talking about the main concept of the stream. I was talking about is you will win when you need to win, which relates to the concept of you need to have an underlying driving reason as to why you show up in the morning, and you have that motivation and drive to show up in the morning and place the trades and pull money out of the market and withdraw money out of your clearing firm so you can use the money for whatever you need it for. I believe that we do not trade for the money itself. The money is a means to an end. Money is a means to an end. At least this is the way that's worked for me recently. This is the way that I see things, because I've been experimenting with this for the last couple of years, and I found that this works for me when I'm in a situation where I have a little bit higher stresses. And I know this is relative because everybody has different situations. Obviously, you can't compare that 16-year-old girl who was talking about she doesn't know if she should trade her real money or not. You can't compare that scenario to somebody who's been trading for 6 years, who has an established strategy, who knows what they're doing, and who now needs to make a decision as to why they're doing this and commit to it, basically, and commit to it and write out their trades with full conviction because they have a reason to do so, a strong enough reason, okay? And some of these reasons for me, they go a bit into lifestyle and into your everyday costs of living, costs of doing business. Because like I said, it's consistent with the idea about how I believe money is a means to an end. You don't get money just to keep money in your bank account. You guys know this. I'm sure you guys know this. I'm sure, maybe if you don't, but anyways, just hear me out. Hear me out on this, what I'm talking about. So money is this tangible thing that you use to get things, to create things. We're the creators. We're here to create. Okay? I'm not talking about making YouTube videos. I'm talking about whatever you have to create. Businesses, creating your body of work, because that's what's going to be left here when we're all gone. Money has to be used, has to be thought about. From my perspective, I'm thinking about it in a way as a means to an end. I have a reason. I have a goal as to what I need that money for. For you, it could be anything. It could be your car. It could be you have to pay your rent. I mean, let's go fight or flight here a little bit. Let's go on the fight or flight level. Cost of living. That's very important. So when you're 18 and you're still living with mom and dad, you're kind of still on level 1. You don't have bills to pay yet. So you might have an interest in trading, and you might have, maybe you saved up, I don't know, maybe you saved up 20 grand when you were a kid, and then maybe you gambled it on a crypto trade, and now bang, you made $1 million. Now you have $1 million. You're 18 years old. You still have no conceptualization of paying real bills, of what it costs to run a business, of what it costs to live somewhere, of what it costs to support a family. So the probabilities are leaning in the favor of you burning all that mill that you just made gambling on a crypto trade. I'm just saying, and don't take this personally if that happens to be you. Don't take it personally. I'm just saying the probability of you burning all that is high, as opposed to somebody who has constant capital inflow and constant capital outflow because they're using that money as a means to an end. So it could be for your cost of living. That's the primary thing. So as soon as so the 18-year-old guy living with his parents, he's on level 1 financially. He's on level 1. When you go to level 2 could be moving out. Now you have to pay your rent. So chances are, if you're young and inexperienced, you don't know how to trade yet. You can't trade to pay your rent. It's very unlikely. It's like being a professional poker player to pay your rent. It's very unlikely. But you still have, because you have to pay rent, now you're on level 2 because now you've ignited your fight or flight system a little bit more, and that you have to actually, you have an actual reason to get up in the morning now. You have a reason to get up in the morning. So, and I'm spelling this out for you in case you guys don't understand this, but that's level 1. And then now let's go a few levels up in the future, okay? So now let's say you're 35 years old. Maybe you have a girlfriend or a wife. You support her. She assists you. You guys are together. You're a team, right? She helps you do certain things. You help her do certain things. You fund your experiences. You live life that has a cost to it. It has a monetary cost, okay? You're no longer on level 1. Now you might be on level 6, level 7, level 8, whatever it is. So as you go through life, you're going to have naturally more capital outflows. And you shouldn't get mad about this. There's no reason to be cheap. People that hold on to money like this, I don't understand why. Money is meant to be dispensed. It's meant to be used for the purpose of experiencing things, of obtaining things, I'm sure some of you guys know this one. Why is it that, let's say women, right? I am gonna generalize here. I'm gonna say women are not fascinated by the money itself. It's always the things that the money can get, that can buy. So for example, let's say you have an apartment, a nice apartment, and then you go on a date, and then you bring the girl back, right? She's like, whoa, like, they view it in this realm of context, like the overall context, rather than what it took to get the thing. They don't see the you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's more about the things that the money buys rather than the money itself. The money itself is a means to an end. Just because you have 100 racks in your bank or 1.3 million in your bank, it doesn't really give you anything until you convert it into something tangible, until you use it to create something. That's like the bottom line, underlying thesis about everything I'm talking about here. And so for me, putting myself in this situation where I have to perform, I'm forced to perform, how I do it, how I've been doing it, is by going through life. And it's not going to be the same for you guys, but for me it's been playing with increasing my cost of living, spending more on having personal life experiences. Could be, I don't know, it could be a vacation, it could be going somewhere, it could be going an experience with a bunch of guys or with your girl or whatever it is. Spending money on your family, spending money on different things, purchasing things, tools that you will use because you have a reason to use them. So all of this is like, maybe for some of you guys it's like a complete no-brainer and you're like, dude, come on, obviously, like, get on with this already. But like, some of you guys maybe don't see it this way. You have this way of thinking about money that you're thinking that the reason why you trade is only for the money, and I'm trying to make you understand that it's not, at least from the way that I'm coming from. So, you know, when you have a higher cost of living, you have more of a reason to get up in the morning and do that. So it starts with having, you know, rent. Then you got to take your girl out. Then you got to, you know, at some point you may have a kid, at a point where you're not going to expect it. Now you have to support your kid. You got to pay child support. You got to maintain your existing tools. Everything you own, all your assets, your tools, there's maintenance costs associated with that. On top of that, you have ongoing projects, things you have to throw money at and fund them. You know, whatever it is, all these things. So in a way, I view it as you, the breadwinner, right? The money is not yours. The money is not yours. My uncle, he does not work in sales and get up every day at 6 a.m. and get on the phone or whatever. He does not win that bread for himself. The money he makes is not for him. It doesn't belong to him. The money you make in trading doesn't belong to you. It shouldn't belong to you. And that's why you're going to get it when you think like that. That's how I see it. Anyways, let's go on in the comments. Hopefully everybody didn't leave throughout this whole rant that I was going on about. But let's see. If anybody wants to join and comment, let me know. That would be great. But yeah, let's see now. Going through the comments. I'll just say hi to some people I haven't said hi to. What is going on? Elis Ben Hamuda. And some of the other guys have been here for a while. Prince of Nothing and Dr. M. Global News. Brian, my back hurts. What's going on, Trader A's? And I think that what's going on, Richard. And I think that's the most of it. So let's see. A couple of comments here, and then we'll probably close it off. And if nobody wants to join and come and shoot the shit with me here on the Telegram live, then we'll probably close it off. But let me go through some of these comments first. In the meantime, I'll take a sip of this wonderful coffee. Beautiful. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going through it. Can you let me know when you have to sell your D-Tex? Prince of Nothing, can you let me know when you have to sell your house? YouTube has done awful things for trading. LOL. 70 ES contracts on 200K. You put your house on the market now. Yeah. I mean, it's. That's. Hey, it might work for you. I mean, I've heard stories of guys that are like in sports betting. They're like deep in sports betting. They may have like debt that they still have to pay, and they keep doing it. And they just end up coming out on top every time. I don't know. I've heard stories like this. I don't know if they're legit though. Anyways, you never know with social media. Mother of all short squeeze says MOASS. I got you now. So now I can understand what he was talking about when he was saying that. But I don't. The comment, for some reason, I can't scroll back far enough to see the comment. I may have to come back to you on that. MHK. Let's see here. Yeah, no need for any trading style except knowing when to hold them. And large bankroll. IBKR and US margin stocks for future, so it gets edge clear and for private accounts. Yeah. Global world news, greatly appreciated. D-Tex, people do start trading that young now. 90% of trading is kids and teenagers talking utter nonsense. It's massive on social media now. Yeah. I mean, man, you never know who's behind some of those accounts. I mean, the worst thing is the thirst trap Twitter accounts. Oh my God, bro. Like, seriously, has it come to this that now you have these trading chick influencers, these women trading influencers, that you go on their account and it's basically a picture of them half naked, or a thirst trap like typical mirror selfie photo where they're showing their body. It's like, are you here to share trading knowledge, or are you here to attract simps? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you here to do? What are you really here to do? You know what I mean? It's like, it's practically insanity, bro. But that's social media. I mean, that's why I view it as comedy. I mean, I'm pretending like I'm angry about it, but it's comedy. It's how the world works. It's messed up. It's completely messed up. I'm going through these comments. Max loss 5.7. Yep. Content create. The biggest podcasts now are like 19-year-olds that have never had a job talking about how Swiss banks trade. Oh man, it's crazy, eh? It's insane. No, dude, the real people behind those banks are never going to be on YouTube, because those people have families to feed. They don't have time to get on YouTube podcasts. They just don't. And they're older. They call them the cigar. I go back to the Frank Zappa analogy where he was talking about the music industry back in the 1970s. The old cigar chomping dudes, okay? Those are the real traders that you're afraid of, okay? And most of them are regular men and women, by the way. They might just be established people that have everyday lives that happen to be taking big shots in the market every day, okay? And those people are not going to be on trading podcasts. They won't. They just won't. If you do, that could be cool. I'm sure there are some. I'm not saying there are none. They probably exist. These days, everything exists. Like Chernobyl gambled. Okay, I don't know what he's talking about. Treat Apex like your crazy ex-girlfriend. Know what you're getting back into. And know they can change their mind at any time. Nah, bro. Leave it in the past. Burn it, bro. This is what you do. No. You don't go back to crazy ex-girlfriends. I know it's a tendency. You don't do that. That's not what you do. You don't go back to exes. You accept it, bro. Accept the rejection. Take the lessons. You guys know this. Some of you guys are older than me. You know these things better than me. I know this. You take those lessons with you every day forward, right? Those experiences, those lessons, those crazy ex-girlfriend scenarios, those crazy ex-prop firm scenarios, everything you learned when you trade that prop firm, that's all knowledge that you now have that you can use going forward. Hopefully, you can use it to do something good. You don't go backwards to old toxic scenarios. And I know I heard an analogy saying sometimes going backwards is better than going in no direction. Well, if you're really stumped and you don't know what the way forward is, maybe sometimes going backwards is actually the right direction. So I don't want to go crazy and say backwards is not the right direction all the time, because sometimes it might be, depending on your scenario. But yeah, crazy ex-girlfriend is not an ideal scenario. Obviously, you want to take what you can get out of that scenario. I mean, take what you can learn out of it and move on, and it will take time. If you need a strategy to get rid of a girlfriend, I may have one for you, but it's not easy. It's not easy. I had a friend in Central America who was kind of having a problem with one girl, because once you get into a scenario with a girl, it's very difficult to get rid of them, right? So it's kind of like a careful game of chess you have to play. And I was like kind of explaining to him how I would think about, if you had to think about getting rid of that girl, it's not going to be in an aggressive manner. Think about it. Why I don't want to cook on this for too long, but why do most women initiate divorces with men, right? Examine those scenarios, and then you can start to realize, okay, maybe you can think about what those guys were doing. If you do what those guys were doing, then that should be on the right track of how to get the girl to be unattracted to you and get rid of her, so to speak. Because the aggressive way is never going to work, by the way. She's going to absolutely ruin, if you try and cut it cold turkey with a woman, she is absolutely going to ruin your life before you guys are separate. She is absolutely going to completely burn everything possible to the ground that she can before she leaves. Okay, so I'll go on to the next thing now before I get completely destroyed in these comments. Oh man. What do you think about delta divergence? It's not a delayed indicator. It's actually one of the few that isn't. No, I haven't studied it extensively. I've seen traders talk about it, but it's not something I've studied very extensively. I'd be interested in looking into it, but no, it's not really something I use. Mainly, I'll tell you why. The reason why I don't use delta so much is because the volume, especially when it comes to derivative contracts, is very all over the place. You can have big buyers, big sellers, but it doesn't necessarily mean very much. It just means that there could be a lot of interest in a particular zone, or maybe traders have to protect their positions. Market makers or whatever it is, they're putting on hedges, taking off hedges, and they will often do so at certain areas. And it just so happens that sometimes you get areas that trade more volume than others. But I wouldn't say that necessarily buy volume or sell volume is always a reliable scenario as to, especially a direction of a market. I mean, at least for me personally, I never found it to be interesting, but I'm sure that it could be. I mean, I've seen traders where they put the chart of the delta divergence as opposed to, so a delta divergence is you look at the buy volume against the sell. I think it's bid volume that traded on the bid minus volume on the traded on the ask. No, it's the other way around. It's volume that traded on the ask minus volume that traded on the bid. That gives you your delta, ask volume minus bid volume. And then you create a chart using those numbers for every chart bar, and you compare that to the chart bar's price, and then you look for certain divergences. I've never used it, but it's something that people use, I guess. If your max drawdown is the same as your daily goal, you got to be green 3 out of 5 to make it worth it. The goal for me is 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Yeah, but it also, my back hurts. It really depends, because you have to also consider the fact that most days you're not hitting your max drawdown, and most days you may not hit a daily goal. I don't think daily goals are as important as daily max drawdown. The reason why I say that is because, especially when you're in a stage where you don't know how much volatility there might be, and you don't know how much your trade is going to yield you all the time. I personally like to position myself in that scenario where you don't always know how much your trade is going to yield. Obviously, I have zones where I take a partial, where I take partials is very important because there's only a limited time frame. Let's say you trade for 2 hours in the morning. There's only a time frame in that window of there's only certain windows of opportunity where you can actually take good trades, at least my trading. So within that window, you need to make a reasonable judgment as to where you're going to take a profit on that. Some people will say, okay, I'll let it ride, or some people will say, I don't. You have to have a reasonable judgment as to the time frame of that trade. So that's why it's not always that easy to do so. I'm going back into the comments here 1 second. If you guys are just joining, what's going on here? This is Verulo Trading. We make videos about software tutorials and trading, and now we're doing weekly live streams. Thank you. I'm going through this. Trader A says $500. You can achieve that with 2 contracts. No, that's not reasonable. No, that's reasonable for sure. Dr. M raised his hand, kind of like recycling shares. Okay, I'm going through this. The bartending trader, what's going on? Thank you for joining. He says, would you recommend Tradovate? They have a way smaller minimum balance. Not that you should use the minimum. I would say most discount futures brokers do not have a minimum deposit amount. So for that reason, doesn't really matter. I've never used Tradovate, so I can't recommend them personally. I cannot say anything on them. I do not know. Okay. Dr. M, okay, balance is good. He's accomplished. There's good people on X. Got to filter them out. Chris is a beast. Thanks for your input, bro. Love the video you did about profit and loss server side video. That's priceless, man. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you. Prince of Nothing says Tradovate's trash, bro. Don't. My backer says, how about if you hold 1 contract of gold for 39 days? Yeah, I mean, gold's been hot this year, guys. Gold has been pretty hot. It's been a pretty good trading vehicle, actually. When I look at the markets in the morning, I'm looking pretty much at S&P 500, NASDAQ, and gold is my second. Gold has been my second lately. I don't know if you guys can see my screen here. Yeah, you can. This drop on Friday was very unprecedented. I was not around for this. I only traded the morning, took about 300 out of the market and left. And I was trading it only on the long side, actually, because the morning momentum on ES was up. I was buying all the dips on the morning, buying these dips. Anytime it dipped, I was buying them. After 11, I was done. I'm pretty sure I was done right before this big dip here. I'm pretty sure this dip right here I bought right around 10:30, and then I was out. I was getting out around here and maybe around here. I don't know. S&P 500, NASDAQ are the 2 that I've been trading this week. Micro ES and Micro NQ, and gold also. Gold is very interesting how it's been trading, but hopefully we see more volatility in gold. Other than that, sometimes I'll look at Bitcoin and altcoins, as well as the dollar against the Canadian, dollar against the franc. Those are sometimes charts that I pull up because this year we've seen, the dollar's been quite bearish for a few weeks now. It's interesting to see that. Canadian dollar's been on a bit of a rally, but it seems we had a bit of a rebound in the last 2 days here. But anyways, it's I was short the Canadian dollar I'm still short the Canadian dollar, but I did clip a piece of my position off, so I'm not as short as I was. But anyways, that's personal information. Oh man, let's see here. Trade of 8's only good for demo trading. Yeah, trade of 8, all those are no good. Definitely Rhythmic or Teton or something like that. Direct access, okay. Sustain your living for, okay. Let's see here. Richard, yes, I'm in. Good morning, Richard. Yes, I am in Canada, not in Toronto. But yes, I'm based in Canada, in Quebec. Yes. Dr. M, sure. Women just want a man, not a clown. We're not complaining. It's your show, bro. Oh man. Delta for me takes up too much mental capital, like you're saying. It's kind of spoofing type of stuff. Thank you for Abby. Tarek, thank you for joining. He says thank you for IBKR videos. Agreed 100%. Gold, platinum, and silver. Platinum was up almost 4% Friday. I haven't looked at platinum much. Maybe I'll look at it. I only look at gold, silver, and I had copper up there too. But maybe I should put platinum up there too. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me know if you had any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. You can always join our Telegram group here. It's t.me/Varilla Trading. I'll put it in the chat. If you guys want to support my content, click on the first link down below. Check out Interactive Brokers, a very good broker for trading US stocks and options. And I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. I'm going to head out now, run some errands, and enjoy the rest of my weekend. The weekend should be family time, at least to a degree. Fun time, family time, enjoying the beautiful weather. Hope you guys have a wonderful summer, and I will see you guys in the next live stream, hopefully next Saturday, if all goes well. I think I like this weekly setup that we've been having here. If you guys have any specific questions you'd like me to cover in the next stream, let me know, and I will catch you guys in the next live stream. Thank you. Cheers.